There is very little known about Mary Elizabeth Lange's past since her birth was not documented. However, the most recent findings indicate that she was born in Santo Domingo, or current-day Haiti, in around 1784. Soon after Mary was born, her mother, Annette Lange, the daughter of a Jewish plantation owner, and her father, who was reported to be a slave on that same plantation, fled with Mary to Cuba at the turn of the century when the Haitian Revolution began. In Cuba, Mary was well educated and enjoyed learning, and came to Baltimore in 1813 with a passion for teaching. However, Baltimore in the early 1800s was not a very friendly place for Mary. Not only was she a free African American in a slave state, but she was a woman in a male-dominated society, she spoke French in an English-speaking area, and she was a Catholic in a predominantly Protestant community. She faced discrimination racially, sexually, ethnically, and religiously. The racism in Baltimore reminded her of Haiti, but instead of moving somewhere else, she remained in the city determined to make change. She was appalled that free African American children could not go to school to receive a deserved education, so she teamed up with Father James Hector Joubert, a French-speaking and fellow Haitian refugee, to create the first ever school for African American girls. They rented a house near St. Mary's Seminary, the place of worship for African Americans in Baltimore, but by 1828 the school had grown and needed a new location. Although it was difficult to buy land as an African American, Mary received land as a gift to officially open St. Francis Academy in 1828. And in 1852 the school started to extend enrollment to boys and is still to this day the oldest Black Catholic school. Father Joubert later attended a conference with Archbishop James Whitfield and introduced Mary's idea of an order of African American nuns teaching underprivileged children. Mary wanted to pursue the religious life but was not accepted by any church because she was African American. Fortunately, Archbishop Whitfield loved the idea, and by July 2nd of 1829, Lange and 3 other African American women took vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, and created the Oblate Sisters of Providence. The Oblate Sisters of Providence still exist today and are devoted to educating and providing welfare to children, women, African Americans, the destitute, and society as a whole. They were called providers of healing and beacons of hope by many African Americans in the community, and when the 1832 cholera epidemic broke out in Baltimore, the Bureau of the Poor reached out to local orders for help. Many women from the Oblate Sisters of Providence took care of the ill and even lost one of their own sisters in the process. To describe the extreme racism at this time, a local white nursing order that did not contribute much to the epidemic received public recognition as a thank you, while the Oblate Sisters of Providence received nothing. And in 1850, when the anti-Catholic riots broke out and damaged Mary's schools, the mayor did nothing about it. But the support from the community for Mary Elizabeth Lange grew, and she opened various schools across Baltimore, like St. Joseph's and St. Michael's, as well as St. Elizabeth's in St. Louis and St. Augustine's in D.C. Mary Elizabeth Lange was a novice mistress from 1851 to 1855, and eventually a local supervisor from 1863 to 1866. She opened a widow's home, ran Bible school, taught vocational training, practiced home visits, and taught night school for African American adults who wanted to learn to read. She has been described as the Mother Teresa of the 19th century Baltimore, helping the poor, the elderly, and the young, and as a pioneer in the fields of education. By 1871, her health was declining, and the last event she could attend before her death was the 50th anniversary of the Oblate Sisters of Providence in 1879. At age 98, she died in 1882 and was buried, of course, in Baltimore. It seemed as though the odds were always against her, but she continued to succeed, and the St. Francis Academy is still to this day a safe haven for children who grow up in inner-city Baltimore. Thank you for watching.